Today we're going to be tying up the badger and red fly. So it's an ice shrimp fly, but it's actually probably one of the easiest to tie as well. It makes for an ideal first ice shrimp fly, and as well as that, it's very similar to very popular Curry's red shrimp or Moran red shrimp. So I've just added on the red thread here, and let's go on. I'm just going to, underneath I'm going to add on a silver oval tag. So this is a medium oval for such a small hook, but I like that for kicking up the tail. Okay, so I'm just going a couple of wraps and tuck that last wrap in underneath. A few turns to secure it in. Then trim off your excess. Okay, now totally optional. I'm going to add in a few strands here. You could add in a few strands of crystal flesh at this stage. Okay, and they'll be about the size, about the length of your tail if you wanted. Okay, now Irish shrimp flies, they have golden pheasant as the tail, so I'm going to do this quite quickly, but I will in the description below put on a full pattern, full dressing, and also how to do this if you haven't already done it. But I always wax my thread anyway. And I'm just going to tie in that tip and just work my way towards that tag. So I'm securing it in, but at the same time securing that flesh in. And trim off my excess. Okay. So I'm just going to wet my hands, wet my fingers, and draw all these fibres onto one side. Okay, and then just going to wind them on like a hackle. Don't really behave like a hackle, that's the difference. So don't worry if it's a bit messy. Okay, so I've got 2.5 wraps there. I'll secure that in. I'll run the stock up a little bit. Okay. Now what you could do is you could get a needle and you could make a tail nice and neat. What I just do is I take it off the face. And that usually gives a good even distribution of all the fibres. Okay. And then what I do is I wet the tail and I just run over, which means it's secured in by the thread and not the stalk. Because golden pheasant is very, very brittle. And then once it hits that tag, it splays up the fibres, so then it's good pulsing movement whenever you're fishing it. Okay, so the first part of the body I'm going to be doing is red floss. So just going to tie on a wee bit of, this is Danville's, it's a lovely silky looking red floss. Okay, I'm going to secure that in above. And then I have, if I can find it, I have some silver wire as well. And that's going to act as my rib. I'm going to secure that in underneath. You could use oval tinsel too, but at this size of hook, this is only a size 12. I think wire is a nicer alternative. Okay, then I'm just going to bring my thread up to about 3/5 of the shank. And then I'm going to follow up the thread with a floss first. So I'm holding both these strands together. Wet your fingers if you need a better grip. Whenever you're doing the floss, I find it really helps. Okay, and then just bring that up. Okay, one more turn. Then follow up with 3 or 4 turns of your silver wire or tinsel. Another beauty I love about the wire is you never need to cut it off. So it's good for small flies. I can actually hold this thread and twist the wire. And it'll come off. As well as that, I can also make adjustments to the segments. So if I think they're too wide or too narrow, I can make slight adjustments to the wire and it'll hold. Okay, so mid hackle for this is going to be badger, hence the name red and badger. So I'm just going to break off the tip. Always blacksmith thread. Then I'm going to, where I broke off the tip, I'm going to secure that in. Put a few fibres back again over it. And that means that stock is secured in twice. And then just start to train your fibres. For some reason this badger cape doesn't, hackles don't like to play ball, but if need to you can always wet your fingers. Okay. Then we just start winding our hackle. Okay, and it's a bit messy here, but anything going forward I'm going to bring back here anyway. I do have a genetic badger. One of these ones here, which is probably more popular these days, but I find it's almost like hen as opposed to a cock cape. Don't know if it's because of the genetics or what, but I had two of them now, and yeah, I don't really like to use them too often. I like the stiff hackle for the Irish shrimp flies. Okay, so that's our mid hackle. Okay, then we just get a wee rogue fibre here. Then we need to do our front. So front part of the body is going to be black floss. So again, I'm going to use single strand stuff and I'm going to double it over. Using the weight of the bobbin, secure that in. And then I'm going to get my wire again. I'm going to secure that in underneath. Okay, and bring that up to the hackle then. Okay, and then we bring our thread back up to the head. Then we just start winding our black floss. If you do find the floss start to unravel a little bit, which it is here, just straighten it out a wee bit, maybe even twist the strands. After a few turns, it should be back to normal anyway. Okay. And again, just trim that off as you go along. And then we're looking for two turns of the silver wire, maybe even three, depending on the size of the hook. Okay, and a few turns to secure. Hold the bobbin tight, and then just twist off. Just simple as that. Okay, so there's no jungle cockle for this one. So again, this is why it's a very easy first Irish shrimp fly. And again, we're going to use badger. So this is a slightly smaller hackle, but it doesn't really matter for a fly this size anyway. And again, I've broken off the tip. Added a bit of wax onto a few inches of my thread. Secured in at the tip. Draw my fibres back. Okay, and then just run the back of your scissors along that stalk. Okay, and again we're going to use probably 2 turns from this cape. So that's 1, 2, and then I'm going to just remove what I think is going to be my excess from the last turn. Okay, anything going forward we can just bring that back, including the stalk if you wanted, because you have plenty of space here over the head, because there's no other hackles or jungle cock. Okay, and then we can cut off our stalk. Now that's a little scruffy looking fly, but it would probably work just as good as, now some people might argue with me here, as a Curry's Red. It's got very similar colours and a lot quicker to tie, and as I said, an ideal first Irish shrimp fly to give a go. Okay, so see a few wee fibres, so that's just my whip finish to finish it off. And that's your badger and red, folks. As always, if you enjoyed the video, let us know below. And do check out my other videos coming up on the screen now. Thanks very much. All the best.